clues to Guatemala's bloody past are not far below the surface. Nearly 2 decades after the Civil War, bodies are still being identified, like the bones of this small child found last week. But it's not just the dead who remind people of past bloodshed. These days, it's also the living. Survivors hold a vigil outside the Supreme Court in the capital.